your bar chords hurt or buzz or feel generally impossible, it's not just about strength. It's also about alignment and getting the right kinds of pressure on the chord. So what most people start off with is something more like this. But if we angle the finger a bit better and keep the thumb straight on the back and the wrist, you can get it to be nice and clear without too much force involved. So let's start with positioning. First, we're going to take our index finger and we're going to make sure it's completely parallel with the fret wire. So it's just behind the fret, not back here and not diagonal, right here. We want to roll very slightly onto the thumb side of the index finger because it's a bit firmer on that side. And then we also need to make sure our wrist is super relaxed, and it does need to be bent. So we can do that by swinging up, completely relaxing the wrist, and then placing the index finger the way I said. And you'll notice your thumb should be almost in line with your index finger, so not like that, it'll be like that. And some people talk about like holding a burger or something like that on the back of the neck. And it also looks like how a capo does, but we're not going to squeeze like a capo. Okay, so that thumb position is super important, and then the wrist, and even your shoulder might need to come down a little bit. Okay, so that's your general positioning. Let me show you that up close really quick. So first we're going to swing our hand up and completely relax the wrist to get the bent wrist position. Then we'll gently take the index finger onto the strings so that it is parallel and with the fret wire and not like this. And I'm just behind the fret wire. It might look like I'm on it, but I'm just behind it. And we also want to be on the index, the thumb side of the index finger. Like that, and then we want all our joints nice and straight, not like this, and we pull back with our body and push in with this knuckle. So one last important thing is the position of the thumb. It needs to be somewhere between the index and second finger, so not over here, but around here, and it will be lightly touching the neck, about halfway down the neck, not up here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to get the pressure that you need to make the notes clear. So instead of clamping with the thumb, we're going to gently pull back with the arm. So this is where in a lesson, I will often come over and pull on the headstock slightly and get my student to squeeze back and not let me pull it. And often that's enough to get their notes to come out clearly and for them to get the feeling of that pulling back thing. So it's actually very slight though. So we only want just enough to get the notes to come out clearly. And you'll see when I'm pulling, this side of my guitar also could pop out, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm gently pulling on this side just a little bit as well, and also my chest. I can feel the guitar like I'm giving it a hug. So we're gently pulling the guitar in with our whole body. And this is going to stop us needing to clamp because we're using the bigger muscles of our body. Another thing that I want to talk about is using this knuckle. So I've got this sponge here. You can try this out to practice, and you're going to gently see if you can engage this knuckle. Again, the wrist position is super important. It's not going to work if you're like this. Approaching from underneath. So you can do little squeezes there to practice. Okay, so now we're engaging our whole body and this knuckle, and we're not squeezing with the thumb. It's like 5% pressure. I remember one of my teachers saying that like this needs to be kind of squishy here, not super tight. She said that was like overcooked meat. So not super tight, should be relaxed. Okay, let's make this trainable. So we're going to go to the 5th fret and we're going to bar 2 strings. For 2 strings, we really need this little knuckle to be sort of bent like that. And then we're going to go to 3, and then 4, 5, and ultimately 6. Your other fingers might go like that, and we need to relax them. You could squeeze like this, but you shouldn't need to in the long run. As in, I'm using my 2nd finger for even more pressure, but ultimately we don't want that. So I would go slowly on this and do 3 to 5 reps per amount of strings that you're holding. And when you get to 6, you can do 10 there, and then take a break, and then another 10 and another 10. So 3 lots of 10 for a daily, if you can, a daily routine for a few weeks, just to build up your, if you want to build your strength really quickly. Then I would also try lightly touching it. So you do get a buzz, and then just going a little bit more. So you're creating awareness around getting that really efficient pressure, not too hard. Okay, so now we get to the exciting part for me. This is about micro adjusting your pressure. So most chords don't need all 6 strings being held down. They will only need a few. So we're going to put pressure on just the tip. See how these ones are muted? Just the bass, tip and the bass, and the middle. I'm going to move to a close-up to show you that in detail. So this is the exercise to get really specific about pressure. First, we're going to just put pressure on the fingertip. So you can see I'm pressing down here, and it might look like I'm pressing here, but I'm not. And I'm going to play the strings. I've got note, note, mute, 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 mute. And I might strum a few times, really feeling this part of my finger pressing the string. Step 2, we're going to just put pressure on the base of the finger. So it's really important to have these knuckles engaged down here. A lot of people go like this. So now we're just putting the pressure here. We've got muted low E, A, D, and we've got some clear notes at the top. So strumming, feeling that. Now we're going to do both at the same time. This is step 3. We've got index and bass, but I've got a little arch to my finger. So I'm muting the inner D and G strings. We actually do this in the F chord and the B minor chord. But on the B minor, it's only 5 strings like that. So you might want to practice that too. And the last step, step 4, is we're trying to direct pressure just to the middle knuckle, which is super, super hard. We're trying to have the outer E's muted, but the middle with lots of pressure. Okay, so let's bring it back to some fun chords that we can use for songs. So a really great way to start getting this position is to just put your finger on the low E and then have open B and E strings up here. So I'm not doing a full bar, it's just the fingertip. And I'm holding this E form, like the E form from down here. I do this in my song The Preacher, and it also happens in a ton of other songs. I've heard it in Joni Mitchell and The Blower's Daughter by Damien Rice. But we're just getting used to moving around the shape. We can also do this with power chords. And then moving into the full bar chord, I would do this minor shape at the 5th fret. And then move down to your F. And then the partial form of that, which is this little one here, is also really useful. I remember that one took me a few months to get. Okay, so I hope you found that helpful, and bar chords really aren't about forcing the shape and pushing your hand. It's about creating awareness and making sure you're using just the right amounts of pressure from the right places. So have fun with that, and I'll look forward to seeing you in another video.